Welcome to Synthaholics. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is my co-host,
Brian. Hello.
Ryan.
How are you doing, David?
I'm doing pretty good. Lots of things came out recently, and we're just getting now to talk to them. Our backgrounds
Catching up.
might be indication of such things, but
We're doing the first. We're doing the first Matrix movie,
no.
and we're spoiling what happens.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna be spoiling what happens in all the Matrix movies, probably. Especially
Probably
the fourth
be
one.
touched upon.
Yeah,
They'll be
especially
touched.
the fourth one.
They'll
But
be touched.
some interesting things happened over the past couple weeks that we either forgot to talk about last time or happened in between the podcasts. So Brian's got one.
Well, now we're at another acquisition. Here with Brian being the business analyst that he is, Sony has purchased Bungie, who has made 2 games. Now, many people think this is a bad idea. Like, why? Why buy Bungie? Why do it? There's no reason to. They don't do anything. But upon further investigation, Sony doesn't have any first-person shooter games besides Call of Duty, and now they're owned by Microsoft. They might be a little scary there. Also, Destiny has a huge player base. I didn't know this, but they average between 800,000 and 1 million people daily logging in, which is a big chunk of people that I did not know about.
Really? That many
Yeah,
that's blowing my mind. I cannot believe
it's
that
a
many
super
people log
popular
in.
game. I didn't know that either.
I mean, I knew it was popular at launch, but I mean, like, it's been boring for years. I mean, I bought the previous expansion, played it for about a month, did everything there was to do, and then didn't even bother playing it. I mean, I bought it with the seasons. I didn't even bother playing the season. That was not enough to do.
Well, they just I guess I mean, Sony has the first person story type of games. They don't have a first person shooter game that's like made by them. So I guess they're going with
because Guerrilla pivoted to Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean,
well, they did have
Guerrilla was their
Killzone.
Yeah,
Killzone
was their shooter.
that failed.
It didn't fail. They just pivoted to, after 4 Killzone games, they pivoted to Horizon.
Well, yeah, but they had to have permission to do that. It's like they must have been like, "Oh, we're done with doing this. We're gonna do a completely different game now, super different."
Yeah, it's very different and very successful. I've been loving Horizon. I've been playing it.
Yeah, Horizon's fantastic. It's one of my favorite
PC,
games of all time.
and I hope
On PC.
I hope Horizon 2 will come to PC much faster than Horizon 1 did.
They're working on it. They keep saying they're gonna start pushing towards multi platforms.
That's good.
I don't know.
But the thing is, back to the Sony Bungie acquisition specifically, from everything I've read, this was not in retaliation to Microsoft. This was in the works before the Microsoft Activision acquisition happened. Like, or it was publicized. Like, this was the Bungie thing was happening behind the scenes, from what I've read, what I can tell. So I'm like,
it had to be, because how would, it's not like Microsoft buys Activision and Blizzard and just goes, and then like 2 weeks later, Sony's like, well, we got to get one too. And then they finish a deal and complete it in like less than 2 weeks.
It wasn't in, but it's also just very bizarre because Bungie doesn't like being owned by any other companies. I don't understand why they keep agreeing to, be bought by the companies. They had a deal.
They get a lot of money.
They had a deal to be bought by Microsoft. They get out of that real quick. They had a deal.
Sony is giving
Activision. They got out of that real quick too.
You're gonna wish you worked at Bungie now. Sony is giving Bungie employees, I think they were giving them a bonus that equals just over $1 billion, which is about $1 million per employee. But I'm sure it won't be split. I'm sure it won't be split that way. It's going to be like the CEO takes like $999 million, and then the rest get like split between $1 million, I guess. I don't know. That's not, but
they get a grant.
If they evenly distribute how much money Sony's giving, it's just over $1 million per person at Bungie, which was pretty cool. That's not going to happen, but that'd be pretty cool if it did.
Yeah, I mean, maybe their next game's going to be real interesting. I don't really know. There's other than there's not really been any news on their new game. Other than that, there's another game in the works. Destiny.
They're gonna make Marathoner 3, which Marathoner 1 and Marathoner 2 came out on the Apple Pippin, so we might get a Marathoner 3
Oh,
now.
that would be a
Yeah,
great follow up.
yeah, that's a good a good follow up.
A service based marathoner game. Games as a service marathoner.
I don't know anything about the game, but I do know they exist.
I don't know. The other bit of news I wanted to talk about was the Lord of the Rings title trailer.
Title trailer.
The-
Well, first thing I think to note is that we've already talked about is that it's practical.
it's
The whole
practical.
thing's practical.
I swear when I watched it, I'm like, wow, this is like it's like
Decent
pretty
CG.
good CG.
I was like, it's good CG.
It's okay. It's not like the best CG, but you know, it's pretty passable. No, it was all practical basically. I mean, I think
They showed the behind the scenes. It's real. It's all real.
it's like how'd you make something real and make it look fake?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny too.
It was I was definitely amused by. I'm like, what? This is real? Like I showed it to my wife and she's like, wow, this looks like super fake. And I'm like, no, it's actually all real.
It's real.
I mean,
They
except for
did it
maybe
on
like
a table.
the highlights on the for the ring to light up the different colors. I mean, that had to be seen. But the rest of it, the pour of the lava or the metal,
Most of 99.9% of it was real. The low glowing was not. Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe they have LEDs built in or something. I don't know.
they just survived the liquefaction of molten steel or whatever it was. Yeah,
The one thing I don't like is that they're using the Lord of the Rings name to like hopefully bring in people because this is not about the Lord of the Rings.
this is
It's
about the
about
second
before,
age.
yeah,
This is
which is
about the
not when
time
the Lord of the Rings happens.
where Luz Theron was going around and they had flying machines. Oh wait, no, that's Wheel of Time, not that's the Wheel of Time second age, not the Lord of the Rings second
I
age.
just want
Oops.
Tom Bombadil. Give me Tom Bombadil. That's what I want. He
Well,
wasn't in the Lord of the Rings.
apparently we're
He
getting
needs to be in.
lots of rings. Like it'll the rings are the main characters and just like talk like wah wah wah.
The rings are just going to be the main characters.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just going to have them rolling around talking.
Yeah, like the sequence where the ring escapes from a seal door and it's just bouncing around. It's like it's a whole show based on the rings.
Exactly.
Yeah, the rings are just
Exactly.
gonna like
The whole
go
show.
wild.
I'm excited for it though, but I will say this is either going to be bad or good. There's not going to be a middle of the ground here. It's just I'm either when we eventually talk about it, I'm either going to give it a 1 or a 10.
You're saying there's gonna be no middle ground. It's not gonna be
There's no
past.
middle ground. It's either good or bad.
It's either gonna be good or bad. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Given the way the Wheel of Time went, where they had multitude of
Skeptical.
source material that they could have condensed and
You're being skeptical.
adapted, that they chose to not do and completely make up stuff, and now they're in a situation where they've got almost nothing to go on. I mean, there's a Silmarillion, but the Silmarillion's like the Bible. It's like a ton of history. It's not like nitty-gritty, this happened, this week and this happened the next week or this or on a day-to-day basis like a TV show would probably do. It's gonna be
Well,
probably
they got bits and pieces of stuff that
sure,
he
but
wrote. It's just nothing complete.
it's broad picture. Everything specific that's going to be in the show, like most of the dialogue's gonna all have to be like written from
Oh yeah, it's
scratch.
gonna have to be new.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, you're going from something where you had everything you possibly needed to make a good show and you ignore it. And now you're going to a show where it's the opposite. You've got almost nothing to work with but a loose framework from the Silmarillion. And then you've got
And unpublished stories.
an unpublished story and you've got all this freedom. That's scary. Did you see the posters that came out?
I did.
At least the posters look like Peter Jackson's work. Like they have the same styling. It looks like it
Yeah, they
fits in the
do.
same world. So I mean, I'm glad they're kind of adapting the Peter Jackson look and feel for
Well, yeah,
Lord of
I
the
hope.
Rings.
Well, maybe let's get Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, and not Peter Jackson, Hobbit.
Yes. Peter
Let's not make
Jackson's
like 7 movies out of The Hobbit.
yeah. That's
Well,
the thing.
closing the conversation down onto the meat and potatoes
Meat and
of
potatoes.
the meat and
Mash them, boil
potatoes.
them, put them in a stew.
Yes, exactly. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that right now. The Matrix Resurrections, also known on the streets as Matrix 4.
4
David,
or Matrix 1 again.
what is your rating?
Oh man, this is hard and easy. Because it was both worse and better than I thought it was going to be
Whoa.
at the same time. It's a better movie than The Matrix 2 and 3. But it's still not a great movie. It's got some interesting ideas, but this movie has had 20-something years of special effects progress, and this movie somehow looks worse than the 1999 Matrix film.
This sounds like it's hurt to talk about right now. It's like you're hurting.
It just doesn't make any sense. Like we've had time and progress and things to get better, and it doesn't look better. In fact, it in many ways looks worse. And like I don't know what so I mean I would have to give this like a 5,
Okay.
5 and a
Okay.
half. Like I mean like I mean it's I
Is this a
don't know.
new low? This is a new low
This
for
is
you?
like this is probably like a low. Yeah, it's like it's disappointing as a Matrix sequel, but it's at the same time it was better than the other two sequels, but also it's not like a great movie either. It's just it's like it's technically worse in almost every way from the original Matrix, from even from a visual standpoint. I don't know. This is not a I don't know who this movie's for, honestly. Is it for Matrix fans? Is it for action
It's for the
fans?
most broad
Is
audience
it
possible.
is it for action fans? Because if you like this,
If you like bad action,
that's about it. That's about as much action as you're gonna get from this movie. There's lots of this. Hands up. Brian, what
a
did
lot
you
of it.
think?
Oh man. So, this movie felt like a tax write-off. This movie felt like what when you have you ever heard of like the Superman roller coaster or like there's the Hulk roller coaster in
I've been on the Hulk
Florida?
roller coaster.
Yeah. This movie feels like a Matrix roller coaster, like a themed roller coaster. That's what this movie feels like. It feels like that and a tax write-off. Or it feels like you haven't I haven't talked to somebody in like 100 years and to find out like they're dead. Like I go on like, oh, let me reconnect with you again, and they're dead. That's what this movie also felt like, if that makes sense. I'm giving this like a 4. A 4. I can't give it a 1 because Keanu's in it. I can't give it a 2 because Matrix sounds cool. And I can't give it a 3 because I don't wanna.
Well, I mean,
I'm
I'd
giving
have
it
to
a
give
4.
like the Matrix 2 like also a 5 because the Matrix 2 was like had a couple good parts in it, but the Matrix 3 is like a 2. Like the
You
Matrix 3
really a
is
2?
the
I
Matrix
think
3
this is the
is
worst.
no, the Matrix 3 is so bad. I thought this was better. That's why I said like 5, 5.5 because the Matrix 2 is kind of watchable,
Well,
kind of not.
speaking about watchable, first we got 2 parts to this watchable thing. HBO uh only a lot is deciding for 2022 they're only putting movies on their platform, or HBO Max is only putting movies on their platform for 31 days before they take them off to go to movie theaters, and then after their movie theater run is done they bring it back to HBO Max.
Well, that's what they've been doing. I mean, I wanted to watch. I mean, I wanted us to do Mortal Kombat on this ages ago, and by the time I got around to wanting to watch it, it was no longer on HBO Max. Then
Yeah, why are they doing that? I don't
yeah,
understand, like, why take it off and then bring it back. It doesn't it doesn't make any
I guess
sense.
to maximize the theater run, maybe if they liked it once on HBO Max, they'll go pay for it again in the movie theater. I don't know. Like I've been avoiding movie theaters at all costs. The global climate.
The human malware.
I think, yeah, the human malware. Yeah, I think the last movie I saw in theaters was The Joker.
When did that come out? 2019?
Yeah,
I don't
or
know. I
or
don't know when it. I
early
don't know
to
when it
early
came out.
early 2020. Like it was like one of the last movies
It
I
was like a
saw.
Christmas movie or something. Well, it came around Christmas. It wasn't a Christmas movie. It just
Oh, it
happened to
was
be a
definitely a
Christmas
Christmas movie.
time movie.
Lots of Christmas cheer about depression and
Yeah,
losing
exactly.
losing
Okay.
your
Yeah,
medical
you're right. You're right.
benefits. That's definitely. I mean, that's what Christmas is all about: losing your medical benefits and going on a bender.
Well, also watching this movie for me was a struggle. I started watching it when it was on HBO, and I fell asleep when they got to like the train scene. That's where that was the last thing I remember. So I went back and watched it again and fully awake. I'm ready to go. I'm like, let me watch this Matrix. I
You
could
fell
only
asleep
watch half
again.
of it before I had to watch it. No, I split it into two. I couldn't watch the whole thing all at once. Man, I was having a rough time. I was like, this is so stupid.
Are you saying this movie's Ambien?
This movie's bad. Yes, it's ambient. If you want to fall asleep, watch this movie. If you want to have your hopes and dreams die, watch this movie. I don't like this movie. I think that's going to be a common thing we're talking about here because there's not really much good stuff going on.
So the thing
I want to be
is,
blue pilled.
the give me all those blue pills. Keanu
Give me the
Reeves
blue pills
was
that
wasting them.
give me the blue pills that were in the sink for Keanu
He
to
didn't
take.
even pull the plug from the sink. They're just littering all over the
No,
sink.
they're just there. Where
Well,
was that taking place? Let me go get them.
well, the movie's almost too meta for its own good because at one point early in the movie we've got Keanu Reeves. So that basically the first three movies didn't happen, kind of, but they did. They're a video game now
Yes.
made made in conjunction with WB, and the WB
Oh,
is
oh.
mandating a fourth one be made, and they're gonna make it without you or not. Like, is that an actual
It's
commentary?
like real life.
Is that an actual commentary on like what happened? Like,
It might be.
like
Like if you don't, if the what is it, the Wachowski
Wachowski
would some,
did the Warner
yeah,
Brothers go
if
to the
you don't
Wach?
they went to him and said, we're making a movie, do you want to be in it? And they said no, and they're like, well, we're doing it anyways.
And then the Wachowskis did rock paper scissors and Lana lost.
Yeah,
Lana
so
Wachowski had to come back and
that's
do this movie. So,
yes. So
um,
that for well, okay.
so also the
And
movie's bad on purpose because also all the meta conversation about making the fourth Matrix game at the beginning is like, what is the expectation for a sequel to the Matrix? Bullet time, lots of guns and lots of bullet time, and so like
well, wait,
they're
hold on. This is when they're talking about creating the next Matrix movie. These are
the
brainstorming
next Matrix
ideas.
game, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Game. They're brainstorming and they're like, oh, what was Matrix all about? Bullet time. Bullet time. Bullet time. Like they were just talking about the old movie video games. I
Yeah,
guess.
and yeah, they were talking about it and what it's expected to be. Like, what do people expect? So people are expecting more. So like, it's kind of like the movie's giving itself permission to be bad and not have bullet time in it because they're like, oh well, this is what made the old Matrix movie. We're not gonna do that
They
movie.
didn't. Yeah, they didn't do bullet time or anything really. I
I
mean, they
mean,
got close.
they did. I mean, the new architect did bullet
Neil Patrick
time.
Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris's forehead did bullet time.
Yeah, it was. I
And
mean, they
Keanu,
set everything up. I wish it's upsetting when, like, you go back to 1999, and if you've seen the behind the scenes of how they did bullet time or how they did some of these shots, and there's one, the one when Neo's on top of the building and he,
yeah,
does
yeah,
that they had
yeah.
like 200 cameras like circling around him. They had him on wires. They had all this stuff. In this movie, a bullet came and he was just like. He just like moved out. Oh man, it was sad. Like it's cinematic like history. That bullet time scene is going to be talked about forever. It was like it's history, and they just were like, no, we're good. We're not even going to try.
We're not even gonna try. I mean, when I think about the Matrix, I think about a movie with great special effects, great choreography, and a movie that kind of was a brain teaser. Because the first movie kind of messed with your head. Like, I had to watch it a couple times to wrap my head fully around what's going on because it's a little bit of a brain teaser. Like it makes you think. And I like a movie that engages your brain on a level other than that fight was cool. That movie had both. That
Well,
fight was
this movie
cool.
didn't have that fight was cool.
No, this movie doesn't have either.
And
Kinda. It's too meta for its own good. Like
the
in the
story
thing
sucks and the action sucks.
and you know, the best new shot that the old movies didn't do was in the trailer. It's the one where Bugs, the new, I guess Morpheus, she's the captain of the new ship that's trying to find
Yes.
Neo. So that's Bugs. So she's the new Morpheus, even though Morpheus is in the movie and Smith and a program now. I don't
why did they need new
understand.
Morpheus and new Smith? Why couldn't they just get like
Why are they the same
why?
person? What? Like,
I think this is we're both going to be lost on this one because there's no reason why they couldn't bring back the original Smith or original Morpheus. Why they just gotta, not to say that I didn't mind Morpheus or the new Smith. I thought they were fine. I thought they were okay. They were cool, but like they already were like existing characters and they just like changed them out.
well, I'm still waiting for an actual sequel to the 1999 Matrix film.
You're not getting that.
Because at the end of that movie, he's on the phone with the Matrix and he's like, "I'm coming for you. I'm gonna let everyone know that you're fake, and we're gonna get you." And the second two movies aren't about that. They're about fighting Smith. They're about punching Smith in the neck, throat punch style.
You're not. Oh man. There's a meme. I wish anybody who's listening could see.
You think that's air you're breathing, Smith?
Oh man. That takes me back. That's an inside joke there.
That was a reference to something Brian sent me. It was like an infinite loop of the finger flick throat punch. It's really great. If you can find that, look it up. It'll change your life.
It will change it.
That GIF is better than this entire movie.
Honestly, you're speaking facts. This is a fact.
True facts.
These are facts. Only facts here on the podcast today. We're only talking about facts.
Oh man, like
this movie has like two parts to it, kind of, sort of. It has like this super metaverse Facebook thing going on with the first like hour, and then the second hour, it turns into more like
a heist,
more of a heist movie trying to like I love Trinity.
It's like
so I gotta
it's like
save her.
Ocean's 11 in the Matrix.
Which did you prefer? Because this movie did feel like it was two parts. Did you prefer the first half or the second half?
Probably the first half.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you too. I preferred the first half
because
I wasn't turned off totally by the first half.
The first half was like a rehash of the Matrix, but like it was also doing things a little bit differently, and it's like okay, I can get on board with this. And then the second half is like what? Like it goes like off the rails, and like it's just the like the movie is so meta that Trinity's husband is named Chad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the first half at least, like Neo is like super confused about what's going on, and I'm with him. I'm super confused too, and I'm figuring it out alongside with him. And then like the second half starts, and I'm like, oh no, oh no,
oh no,
oh no.
See, the thing is, I always beyond the wanting an actual sequel to the first movie is that my contention based on what they gave us in the Matrix 2 and 3 is that I always believed the real world was a matrix within a matrix, right? Because Trinity brings Neo back to life. Neo could affect the machines in the real world. All these things kind of pointed to that the Matrix, the real world, wasn't really the real world. And they kind of doubled down on the fact that the real world is the real world, even though lots of things kind of contradict it if you look at the subtext of it. It's just really, really weird. Like the train station scene at the beginning of the third Matrix movie. Remember that scene where
I do remember it.
He's in the real world, he got knocked out after knocking out the Sentinels, and he's in a matrix bridge between the Matrix and your world, which is the real world, which is another matrix within a matrix, because it's a program that runs in between them. That's what the train
Yes.
station. I mean, like that's to
Yes.
me what they're telling me, and then like no, it's not a matrix within a matrix. Like the Wachowskis have said that it's not a matrix within a matrix, but I'm like, but why? Like all the lawyers setting up is makes
A
this make
Matrix.
sense,
Yeah.
but then you're contradicted in what you're saying, and then they're doubling down that it's because the machines are coming into the real world as like nanobots, magnetic nanobot swarms. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It makes
oh,
perfect sense.
what? What? Like, and they want to be friends with the. Some of them want to be friends with the humans. Like
Yeah, exactly.
the little slinky one reminds me of the little aliens in Men in Black who are always drinking coffee.
Well, this is for merchandise. They're
Yeah,
gonna
oh,
sell this as like droids from Star Wars. It's like the new BB-8.
Gotcha. Yeah, you gotta have
That's what they aim for.
gotta
That's
have the
the
naked Morpheus nanobot statue.
exactly. I need to get one of those. They sell them
Just
at a store.
like, do they have like different dick sizes you can swap on or not? Because the different nanobots.
It's all nanobots.
There.
So
Yeah, I mean,
think
it could be
just
bigger
do whatever
or
you
smaller,
want.
depending on what you
Yeah,
want.
depending on how many nanobots you get. Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Oh gosh. Okay, so Neil Patrick Harris.
He's the
Bringing
new
it back.
he's the new architect. So
he's like the analyst architect man.
So he killed the old architect. What? Like,
well,
what happened there?
So I have a problem with this guy. Not because it's Neil Patrick Harris and he's like a cartoon villain. He seems like he'd be like the villain on like The Bachelor or something. Anyway, that aside, he starts moving super fast. Super fast. Faster than like
Neo.
This
Neo
happens
can
multiple
move in
times.
bullet time. Yeah.
Yeah. He's moving super fast, but he's talking at a normal speed. So how is Neo understanding any of this?
He can percept it because Neo's also moving fast. He's just not moving as fast.
He's moving significantly slower. What do you think?
It's like Superman tracking the Flash in Justice League.
Oh god. That was a bother. That's something that bothered me as well. Also, one thing that I don't know if you noticed, but I noticed, the lips don't always match up to what's being said. Sometimes when an actor is talking, their lips are saying like something else, and they just like ad-libbed over it to make it say something else. I don't know if
they ADR'd over.
I noticed that like 5 or 6 times, and I don't know if there was like when I was watching it there was lag or I don't know what was going on, but like there's something going on there, and I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to call up the
Lana Wachowski. It's like, hey,
yeah, I'm gonna have to call her up.
Did you ADR?
Did you do that? Did you ADR those people in? Like, what's going on? Or ADR the voice lines?
Different lines in. You didn't reshoot it.
That was something I noticed that also bothered me.
I didn't notice that, although they threw in the Merovingian as a disheveled, like crazy homeless person.
They did do that. Well, I mean, for the God, I remember in the original trilogy, it's like when you see like an agent, you was like, oh man, stuff's about to go down. You got to run. Like we got to get out of here. There's gonna be a cool fight scene or something like that. In this movie, they're like zombies. Oh man, I don't even know where to go with this. Just everything sucks.
And like so many of the fights are also like rehashed fights, like shot for shot from the first. Like the subway scene is like the same as one of the fights in the Matrix Resurrections.
There's also no green tint. Where's the green tint?
Well, they didn't have like at the end of the third. It's a utopia now, except it's not a utopia.
Yeah, but I want a green tint. Give me a green tint.
So Neil Patrick Harris brought Trinity and Neo back to life because keeping them near each other creates extra energy from the humans, or for some reason. If you keep them too close, they break out and they go crazy and they destroy everything. But if you keep them close,
their passion makes a lot of power.
Extra power. And then Neo can't fly for some reason. But then at the end of the
They
movie,
don't explain that. Oh,
then
yeah, he is flying
then
at like
the
the end
the
credit scene.
very end of the movie, he's flying again after Trinity can fly, and I honestly don't have a problem with Trinity also being a one, so they're the two, or since they're a couple, they are the new one. That didn't bother me because she did bring him back to life at the end of the first movie. So this was always kind of in the subtext of the movie where she is maybe more powerful than just a regular person. So I honestly
Okay.
didn't have a problem with that in this movie. It's just that
So you're okay with like the story is just like rescue Trinity? It goes like meta for like half, and then the second half is like get Trinity back.
oh no, I mean I think
It's a heist.
it was dumb that they had to do two heists in the same movie. Like they go and they get Neo and then like, oh, we got to go and get Trinity now. It's like, why
Yeah,
didn't
they just do the same thing twice.
yeah, they did the same thing twice and it's less interesting the second time, even though it's like more in depth. And the little girl who was the daughter from the train station scene in the third movie is a grown up and she's helping the resistance. They killed her parents in the purge, but the Merovingian's still alive and his werewolves are still alive, I guess. Though he's a homeless bum, and they said they purged all the old machines. Like Merovingian has survived so many purges, and it's weird because this movie acts as both a reboot and a sequel at the same time. A reboot. It's a rebootquel.
It's a rebootquel.
Rebootquel. Yeah, it's bizarre. It's both a sequel and it's its own thing. Which I
It makes
because
you uncomfortable. It's making you uncomfortable.
it's just like why? Why can't we just make like
A
interesting
good
movies?
a good thing. Why can't anything be good?
Why does everything have to not be good?
Please. Please give me something good. I want something good.
Please, sir, can I have something good? Do I have to go back to the
So
1990s or something
so
good?
what I'm getting here is that you wanna be blue pilled as well.
Oh, probably, yeah. I mean, I would
Yeah.
like to forget that The Matrix 2, 3, and 4 ever happened and just live in bliss. Ignorance is bliss. The first movie was almost perfect in every single way, and that nothing ever happened with it again because it was a perfect movie and they don't need to ruin it.
I wish I could have watched this movie and just been like, "Eh, okay, I'm done." But this movie, like, made me upset at how bad it was.
Oh, tell me, how did it make you upset?
Everything. It existing made me upset. Just the fact that I can't watch it all at once without, like, going crazy. Like, I text you when I was watching, I was like, "Man, this is not okay." Like, I'm having a bad time over here.
I'm having a bad time, man.
I'm having a bad time.
Game
I
over,
mean,
man.
a lot of the things that points that you've made, I'm like, I'm on board. I think I just like, well, also, I also don't hate 2 as much as you hate 2 for sure. I'm okay with 2. I think 2 can still hold up. 3 is where I'm not where we're heading towards Matrix 4 land.
I don't know. I mean, I
They're
don't
all
really.
obviously they had a good idea with the first one, and then they kind of didn't really know where to go with it. For sure, that's what happened.
Well,
They
it's
weren't expecting
they
for
were upping the
success.
action in the Matrix 2 and 3 because that's why I guess they thought everyone liked the first two. But some people liked the headiness, like
Well,
the what
everybody,
is
yeah,
reality aspect of this movie.
yeah,
And
that is what people liked. I mean, action's cool and all that stuff, but like everybody, when you hear about everybody knows the Matrix. No matter who you are, everybody knows the Matrix. Then when you go and dig a little bit deeper to that question, it's like, well, do you know there's a second one? No. Do you know there's a third one? No. But I know they're making this remake. It's like that's how it's. Nobody knows. Like, well, people do know that there's a 2 and 3, but like just a casual person who has heard of the Matrix doesn't know 2 and 3 exist.
most people know of the first one, and they yeah, the casual fans know. Like most casual people like because it's part of our culture. The Matrix has become part of our
Bullet
culture,
time, man.
like Star Trek has. Like even if you haven't seen Star Trek, you know what the Enterprise is. You know Captain Kirk.
Yeah,
And also it doesn't hurt that William Shatner's everywhere and everything, like Priceline commercials,
he's
Miss
also he's getting up
Congeniality.
there in age. He's getting old.
He's been to space. He was in the news for that too.
I mean, that's. I mean, he didn't really. It's not really space.
He was scratching at the edge of space with Jeff
Yeah, he was
Bezos.
scratching it. He was scratching at the. He wasn't really in space.
Yeah. Well, James Doohan, Scotty, he's in space. They got his ashes on the International Space Station.
ISS.
Which that's news. They want to crash that into the Pacific Ocean like 2031, 2032.
Well, they will do that. They will do that
I think
in like 10
they
years.
just recently mentioned
This is the ISS, by the way. The
International
ISS
Space
will
Station.
crash. Yeah,
Yeah.
it will crash into Earth in about 10 years.
And hopefully Artemis is on schedule for this year.
I don't know what that is, but I hope so too.
Artemis is the next stage of doing moon missions. They want to send, I think, an unmanned ship to the moon and have it fly there and come back, and then it's going to lead up to building a space station orbit of the moon that'll act as a waypoint fueling station Earth to the moon. What the Artemis program is supposed to get to eventually, and supposedly later this year, we will have the first, I guess, test Artemis.
We're gonna be dead before this is going to be useful to us. We're going to be long dead before we see this this happen. Oh boy, I need to be more. I need all the blue pills. Give me all the blue pills.
All the blue pills. You just want to sleep, and you just want to sleep until the cool stuff happens.
Also, something we haven't brought up: the ending here. The ending of the Matrix Resurrections.
They're gonna make
Trinity and Neo
unicorns.
No, it's a little bit before the rainbows and unicorns. Before they like torture Neil Patrick Harris. They are. It's nighttime because that's when action takes place, and they're driving a motorcycle. Trinity's driving, and Neo's like piggybacking her or something. And yeah, Neo's doing a bunch of like force field shooting his hands out because to be fair, he's getting a little old to do all these like action scenes.
That's what stunt doubles are for.
No, he does his own stunts. But people start getting hacked. They start getting hacked and just jumping out of buildings. Here's my problem with it. I don't think these people just like jumping through a window. Like if you go to a skyscraper in real life and try to jump out of the window, that's not going to work. That glass is like 4 inches thick. Like you're not just going to casually jump out of the window and break the glass. That bothered me.
Well,
that's a nitpick.
It's the Matrix. So like because they've been activated, the glass just gets really break because.
Was that a side program? That was like
the
side. They like coded that in.
I mean, like I mean, like things that don't make sense in the real world are fine because it's the Matrix and you can do whatever you want in the Matrix, as evidenced by these movies.
Meta. Oh man.
So who knows? I mean, like I mean, to me that's fine. I mean, like that's. Like if it was actually meant to take place in the real world, sure, I'd have an issue right there along with you. But as the Matrix, I mean, like sure, I mean, like they were probably just made weaker because they were activated, or obstacles in proximity become easier to break because you're trying to blow up the one.
Yeah, but I don't want to play mental gymnastics.
Your sole purpose was to just turn into a bomb to destroy the one. Or the two.
The two. It's the two now. Get it right.
Yeah, number one. Right. I want you to take a number two.
Number one. Take a number two, please.
Yes, sir.
Also, the end of the movie, the Neil Patrick Harris analyst, architect, torture scene that kind of happens. Trinity goes up and like kicks him in the mouth, and he like loses his mouth. I thought that was cool. That was a cool moment for me. That was top 10 cool moments of Matrix 4.
I've always wanted to see Neil Patrick Harris without a mouth.
And now you get to see that. And then you get to see his head get cut off and then brought back to life. And then she like, first of all, this kick, she like kicks him and his mouth, like his bottom jaw just like disappears. And they kind of show it, but they don't really show it. Then he like gets it back. Then she like slices his head off. He dies, and then they like bring him back, and then she like super punches him into the wall, and he's just like, "I'm good." Like that hurt a little bit, and I'm gonna cough here, but like other than that, like I'm okay. How hard did she kick him in the bottom of his jaw for that to just disappear. But then she like punches him, and there's like dust that's flying off of him into the wall, and he's just like,
Super Saiyan speeds.
I'm good. Man, it didn't look Super Saiyan speeds to me. It just looked
No,
like she was like a normal kick.
Although it's just really funny that the movie, like, I don't know if it's like just Keanu Reeves' stage in his life, but after playing Cyberpunk 2077, like his performance is very much like it is in Cyberpunk 2077. His look is exactly the same. The long hair and the scruffy beard. It's just really like wow.
He's
Like,
Johnny
I'm
Silverhands.
getting Johnny Silverhands like vibes from him like the entire movie. His presentation and everything, his acting is it's not bad. It's just Johnny Silverhand and not
Well, Keanu Reeves is not known for being the greatest actor in the world.
What?
He's okay. He's okay. He's not the greatest. That's my hot take. He's okay.
Yeah, he's all right.
Sometimes can be good. Other than that,
It depends on the film.
Yeah, it depends on the film
and the director.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of moving pieces that go into that.
Variables. Wow. Yeah.
Well,
This was a movie. It was a movie. It was apparently made and seen. I don't know how it's done. I haven't seen. I can't imagine it's made a ton of money. It was relatively expensive. I think it's the most expensive of the 4 Matrix films, which also blows me away because again, the special effects
not really that great.
Aren't nearly as good as the 1999 one, and you'd think replicating the special effects would have been here now, but they didn't really do much of it.
No,
like they didn't.
The CGI is not
they
very
didn't
good.
even
The
do
story's
the bullet,
not good.
Like when they were reenacting the part with Trinity at the beginning, they didn't even do the bullet time kick.
They did no bullet time stuff. They like some of the times they would have like a bullet that had like they spent the time to like have the bullet have like the rings around the bullet as it's traveling. They did like all the pieces except like they didn't do the thing. It was like I'm waiting for the whole. Well, there is one they did the thing. You know when Neo holds his hands up because he does that 100 times and he stops a bunch of bullets.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool because I was like, oh, he's doing the thing. Well, like that was the only thing he did.
and then he did it again and again
and
again and again and again.
He did the thing, and that was his only thing.
And again.
Anytime he gets in trouble and he's about to like be in trouble, he's just like force field hands.
It's like hands up. It just feels like it was hastily slapped together, so they couldn't figure out anything else for him to do. It's like, oh, just hold up your hands. You're riding on a motorcycle, so you don't have to do kung fu. You're just gonna hold up your hands.
I wonder when they were like screening this movie to just like the people that created it and they're watching it in theaters because I'm sure they have, and their takeaway is just like, wow, that was not very good. Like,
it's just.
Do you think so, that like there's no way anybody who created this movie walks away and is like, yeah, I am. This is something. This is good.
Well, but they go on the red carpet and they're all jazzing it up. They're all like, yeah, this is great. We're back for the
yeah, but that's not. They're not telling the truth. They're there for PR stuff. They're not like like. I don't know if I was on that red. This is why we're not famous. This is the only reason that we're not famous.
We tell the truth.
Is because if we got on the red carpet, we tell the truth. This movie sucks. Don't go watch it.
Like you don't want to see this movie. We've seen it. It is trash.
It's not good. You'll be a hero online. You'll be a Twitter hero.
If you and I were both in a movie and we saw it like this is trash, you're like, yeah, this is not good.
This is not good. I wouldn't see that. I'm getting canceled for Hollywood for saying this, but like this is not a good movie.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Oh man, I don't know where we are as a culture where fortunately everything is being a remake. And have you seen a remake that's been better than the original? Like ever, just in general, with remakes in general. Like, is that something that's ever happened?
I mean, I'm sure it's happened. And I'm sure I've seen something where it has happened. I just can't think of any. I can't even think of any remakes because now that you told me to, like, my brain's like shutting down. It's like, can you think of any remakes? No, my brain has shut down now since you asked.
that have been as good or better than the original source material, and it's just like, I mean, like, the A-Team movie was okay. I mean, it wasn't, like, great, but I
Okay,
mean,
okay. Nah,
this
really? You said the A Team?
the A-Team movie, like, it was, like, it wasn't great, but I mean, like, it was okay. I mean, like, I don't
No, no. Does that? Are you talking true remakes?
like,
Just
remakes, like a TV
oh, the
show that
same exact thing.
like a TV show that was made into a movie, or like a movie that's been a reboot of the same movie, like The Fog.
I mean, I thought
I think they made The
Blade Runner
Fog like
2049 was way better than the original,
it's also like a
but
sequel.
it's yeah, it's a
It's
sequel
not
though.
like a
Like a soft reboot,
kind of
soft sequel
soft
reboot.
sequel reboot. Because I mean,
I
like The
don't know.
Hobbit is kind of like the soft reboot sequel or prequel to Lord of the Rings, and it was awful.
Well, actually, they have made The Hobbit before, and honestly, I think the original Hobbit that came out in like the 70s, it's like a cartoon.
It's absolutely better.
I think it's better than the movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, are the reboots ever better? The originals are usually the best form of said thing.
Um, I can't really
Usually,
think of any. I can't
and
think of
I
any
can't.
right now.
And
There's definitely some that are out there. There's got to be one remake that is better. There's got to be one. The Indie in the Cupboard. I don't know why that keeps coming to my mind. Stuart Little.
was
Where am I
was
getting these? Where am I getting these from?
was there an original from a long time ago? I mean, like, I remember the Stuart Little movies from like the '90s, but I didn't think that was a remake. I thought that was a new thing because they could CGI a mouse.
I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to think of stuff, man. I'm just trying to. I don't even know. I'm just like naming movies. Just
Naming
is this one a remake?
is this a
Is this?
remake?
Let's just name movies we like and see if after if they're a remake.
Oh, it's just like usually remakes. Every time they do a remake, it's not as good. Like the Star Wars prequels weren't as good as the original movies. The
I like the third
sequels,
one the best.
the sequels weren't as good as the prequels, which weren't as good as the originals. Like it just seems like everything like gets worse the more they like kind of copy it and reuse it.
Yeah, but like, what are? There's not really anything in life that doesn't just progressively get worse. Is there anything that gets better over? There's nothing that gets better over time.
Supernatural got better over time. It got more and more people watching it. That show's viewership grew over 15 seasons rather than shrink, which was bizarre to me. Usually TV shows tank after a couple of
Like
seasons.
2 seasons.
Yeah, and then it started growing. Like it was bizarre. I mean, that's a weird anomaly thing. But again, that was its own original thing.
Yeah, I can't
It
really
wasn't a
think of any
remake.
remakes. I can't think of any remakes that are better than the original.
Well, like just like it's like you and I are both huge fans of Red Letter Media. Remember they used to do these videos garbage, like garbage of January or whatever, like last year's garbage, and they talked about another remake, and they talked
Oh
about like
yeah, F you! It's
yeah,
January.
something like that. Like they
Ghostbusters. We haven't seen that before.
yeah. But they used to do these videos like in January where they talked about all the movies coming out later in the year and like, oh look, it's a remake. It's not going to be any
There are
good.
every big movie is a remake, sequel, or a reboot, a rehash, a soft sequels, reboot. Everything. There's not really much original stuff anymore. Even oh no, I got one.
What?
I got one. Dune.
It's definitely a remake.
Yeah, it's a remake.
It's a remake.
Yeah, the
Okay,
remake's better than the original.
but it's not even like it's hard. Yeah, it's one. That's one example
Technically,
that happened
technically,
last year.
but there's an
Yes,
asterisk there. I feel like there should be an
there's
asterisk there.
definitely should be an asterisk there because it's not the entire movie.
No, it's not.
We
But like
we
so
won't
far, it's
know if
better.
it's really better until we get the rest of it.
It
Like
all comes back to Dune.
it
The
all
spice must flow.
it all comes back to Dune. It does. I think every episode, like somehow a Dune reference pops up.
Yeah.
Uh and it's a beautiful thing. We love the Denis Villeneuve's Dune. I can't wait to see what he does in the part two because that's the hardest part to do. So
Are they
he's
even
got
filming it yet?
I don't know.
He's too secretive. We don't know anything. I know he announced his next project. Don't remember the name of it, but it's some sci-fi. He's doing some sci-fi something.
Yeah, okay.
That's all I got for that.
Dune. I can't believe it. That's actually it's a recent too. It's a one remake that's kind of better than the original.
Yeah. See, boom.
But
There you
but
go.
but
Yeah,
it,
you don't need any more than one.
but I mean, like the first Dune movie was okay until the point that this movie ends.
No, this movie, this Dune movie from 2019 when it was supposed to come out is better than the original Dune in
Yes,
every way. I
it
think.
is. It is. It is definitely. That is. It's one movie that has improved from special effects getting better over time.
Agreed. Well, Dennis Villeneuve's CGI or whatever the heck you want to call it is always top tier in any of his movies. It's always super real. You know, you got Blade Runner, which you already talked about. That one,
Blade Runner was pretty
that
good.
this CGI and well, I'm just talking strictly CGI. It's really good. Arrival CGI, super good.
Rival.
I don't know. Dennis Villeneuve's just got some CGI magic working. He's got robots working for him.
It's like he keeps it super simple. And so it looks
He does keep
good.
it super simple.
Like it's so it,
and
it's,
it look yeah.
Yeah, he keeps it simple so it's not like overly done. Like Shang-Chi, the ending is just like
CGI.
It's like
They just to film it. They just
happening.
they just stand in like a green warehouse and they just like run around with a camera and they're like, "We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. This is a post movie."
Yeah, we'll everything in post. Yeah, it's just weird. It's just disappointing that like everything that was great when it first came out, it just gets remade most part, and it's not nearly as good. Dune, the one exception that I can think of off in my head. If you can think of other examples of movies,
Email David.
You can email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com. You know, put them down in the comments section. Messages to us live when we are live. You know, either way. So I mean, like, there's multiple ways you can let us know if you seen any sequels. Other than Dune, I really can't think of it. Or not sequels, like that
Does
were.
Batman count?
I mean, yeah.
Christopher Nolan's Batman's better than all the other Batmans.
I mean,
but then they remade Batman after him.
But then got Ben Affleck's Batman. I don't know, like superhero movies are kind of like their own thing, though.
Yeah, let's keep them out of the equation. These superhero movies get confusing.
They get rebooted so often, like you know.
I mean, Spider-Man's been rebooted 3 times.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, in the past 20 years, there's been previous Spider-Man.
Yeah, if something gets rebooted that fast, then I don't know if it should really count in that lineup because I mean it's hit and miss. Because I mean, the Amazing Spider-Mans were arguably worse than the original Spider-Man trilogy, which I actually like.
I preferred them.
I preferred the Amazing Spider-Mans over the original trilogy because I thought the second two of the original trilogy were not very good. Tom Holland's Spider-Mans were very good. So I mean, I guess in superhero movies, it's hit and miss.
They don't count. Let's not count them.
It also depends on who you are. But I mean, like, yeah, I'm talking about a wider spectrum because superheroes are rebooted. Like, their nature is to be rebooted. Even in the comics, they are rebooted all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's like how else would you keep a story going for however long Superman's been out for?
Yeah, their nature is rebooted. So
80 years.
I mean,
dang, Superman's gonna be 100 years old in 20 years.
Man, oh, we
that's
feel
crazy.
Old.
I mean, it's not like I was alive when It's not like I was alive when Superman came out.
You weren't alive when Superman came out? Wow, man.
I wasn't. It's got me beat by about like 100 years. I'm only 12.
That's good. That's good. Very interesting. Well, I guess that wraps us up for Matrix. Next time, we'll be going over the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh my god.
We have we'll be reading a book that's I guess 8 chapters long.
It's different from the TV show on Disney Plus. It's an actual book.
Yeah, we're reading the book version of the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're reading the book version.
The novel of Boba Fett, I guess. We're in talks. We should have Jeff Heller joining us. He was on several of our episodes in the past when we talked about Star Trek. He was on our Picard season finale for Picard season 1, and he'll be joining us for Mandalorian. So, and maybe also Moon Knight. because
Book of Boba Fett, not Mandalorian.
Book of Mandalorian Fett. I don't know. There's a lot of crossover. Well, that's what we'll be going into next time, because it wraps up in 2 weeks, and so in 2 weeks we'll be covering it. So we'll be timely for that one, at least.
On time for once.
We
can do this. We can be on time, not talk about a movie 2 months after it came out. It's already been discussed to death, and now we're here to put it in the grave.
Put it in the grave, much like
like exactly like that. We're gonna use rebar too.
Rebar.
That's what we're gonna use. I mean, yeah, we're gonna.
The best way to prepare something for burial is rebar.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
what I think of when I die. I think of rebar. When people die, rebar is the second thing.
I want to open rebar casket. I want to look peaceful like Trinity when she passed away.
He looks so peaceful.
Looks so peaceful, Trinity. That's what Neil Patrick Harris thought too, because he's like, "Oh, you're too peaceful to die. We're bringing you back, resurrection style."
Exactly.
Well, thank you all for tuning in and listening. Hope you guys had a good time. Let us know what you guys think about the Matrix and reboots and that fun stuff. And next time, like we said, the Book of Boba Mandalorian Fett.
Star Wars.
We're doing Star Wars next. Oh yeah. See you next time, guys. Live long and prosper.
Bye.
One and all. Well, I had to turn the recording on first to say this. So when we talked about the original Matrix trilogy, with Aaron and Holly, previous hosts, Holly has said Trinity looked so peaceful when she died. Rebar through her chest.
I think it's super peaceful. I don't see why.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never seen
a peaceful way to go.
I've never seen a more peaceful way to go than rebar through the chest. So, like, that's
it can still be an open casket. You can still have an open casket.
That's the story behind my my background. It's a reference to a previous episode of Synthaholics, actually.
Oh my gosh, you're so meta.
The rebar through the chest, yes.
You're a meta man.
The meta man can.
The meta man can.
I mean, that's what's going on. It's also meta for the movie because they did die and came back, and also the movie is like just killing the Matrix to bring it back to kill it again.
Oh my gosh, man.
I have to give this movie 2 ratings also.
Really? You're giving this 2 ratings? I'm giving it 1.
You giving it 1?
I'm giving it a 1 and a 1.
I'm giving it 1 rating, and that rating is 1. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna give it 2 ratings or not. I don't know.
Are you gonna be in terms of the Matrix Extended Universe?
Yeah, the Matrix Extended Universe. In terms of a Matrix film, I don't know. I guess I can give it.
Hey, you do whatever you want. I'm not here to influence you.
If
you want to give it 4 ratings, in terms of Keanu Reeves acting, I want to give this a rating of 4.
Cyberpunk 2077 out of Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm going to give this 7 Cyberpunk 2077s out of 9. We should just make the scale of rating things like it makes no sense.
We should for this
I'm going to give this 14 trailer wheels out of 71 fish.
Yeah, because the movie doesn't make any sense, we can just throw out our rating system is for this.
Our ratings don't
Our rating system has to be at least as meta as the movie is.
Our ratings will be as confusing as Matrix Resurrections. Oh boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh. Oh man. Impale Trinity is my background. I wonder how many people will get it.
I got it now.
Well, I mean, your original thought was good, like saying it's meta for the franchise. I mean, it is, but it's also in reference to an old episode. So
I thought that I'm gonna go with that's why they named it Resurrections now.
well, yeah, I guess.
I didn't have that thought until right now. Considering we had to look up the name of the movie to figure out what the name of the movie was.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of us can remember.
All right.